Real quick, my name is Max Whitemeyer. This is Don Eric Norwood, and we are with MenuRunners. Now, how many of you guys have ordered from Uber Eats, Grubhub, Favor, DoorDash, Postmates? Good, I see a couple hands out there. Now, how many of you guys have ordered from MenuRunners? Exactly. If you said you did, I would probably say you're lying. Anyway, so the reason why is because MenuRunners only focuses in secondary markets. We are a food delivery service just like those, but we focus in secondary markets like Tyler, Abilene, Odessa, Longview, etc. But before we get into our markets, I kind of want to go into the history of the company and where we are and how we got here. Don Eric and I founded the company back in June of 2016, so we're fairly young. We're just over a little 18 months old, and in that time, we've had a lot of growth. We started the company with just 10 grand, and since then, we have moved into 11 different markets and now service 25 cities, okay? We've made 6 acquisitions of other restaurant delivery services, smaller ones in areas, okay? We have about 27,000 users on our platform right now. We've done just about 140,000 transactions. We employ 260 drivers, and in that time, we've done about 5.2 million in sales, which is phenomenal. So to tell you a little bit more about the secondary markets and why that's a key focus of ours, Don Eric's going to take it from there.
Alrighty. Okay, here we go. Okay, so within our areas, there are multiple problems that customers deal with. So we have 2 customers: our restaurant partners, as well as the consumer who is purchasing food. So a couple different things that consumers deal with is when in these secondary markets, you don't have any single view of multiple restaurants. So if you think you want Chili's, then you decide, no, I think I want Black Eyed Peas. No, I think I want Taco Bell. You have to go to all 3 different menus or websites to see what's there. So they also have problems with limited options and reviews. They're not seeing what these restaurants are about or, the best type of food that they have in the restaurants. And one of the major things, one of the major concerns is taking too long to order. So we're still battling the paper menu today. And restaurants are still getting tons of calls and customers, I can't hear. Can you repeat that? Orders are being messed up simply because no one understands the ordering process. On our partners, the restaurants, they're spending too much money trying to get a return on their investment. Marketing companies coming in, give me $1,000, I'll bring you, all these customers, and not bringing them any customers. And so they're out of money and still looking for customers. There are not enough tables in their restaurants. So they're limited with the amount of money they can make based on the people that they can hold in their stores. So some of the things those solutions that we have for that is the MenuRunners 2.0 app and website. And what we basically do is now we can access all the restaurants on one single platform, so you can roll through and see all the restaurants in towns, their reviews, the good things that are going on with them without going back and forth. Now the restaurant can not have to deal with as many call-in orders because now the customers can go through the app and order the food, place it, and it goes to their restaurant on a tablet, and now they don't have to deal with, a lot of times bringing in extra people during the rush hours because their phones are off the hook so much. And on the restaurant side is guaranteed return on investment. So our model is we don't get paid unless we sit in the restaurant business. So our job is to market and push that restaurant and create orders for them because that's how we get paid. So now it brings them a guaranteed return on investment. So they're never giving us money without something in return. Virtual tables, we add extra tables to them. So if your restaurant can host 10 people, guess what? We can bring another 10, 15 tables into your restaurant through virtual. So as long as your kitchen can push the orders, we can get the people in for you. So we have restaurants that we're bringing $2,000 to $5,000 a week in sales, incremental sales to their businesses. And all of this is through our products. So, Max and I are both, sales guys. When we got into this, that's why we felt like it was a huge challenge, but easier for us to get the sales because that's what we're trained to do. So we had to go off and bring in a technical director, Jeevan, who's been developing software for over 30 years. And he came in and liked what was going on and developed us a proprietary software. And in these secondary markets, we are the only service with this type of software. Others are just licensing softwares, so there's little that they can do. In ours, we can really scale and API into a lot of these softwares and tablets so that now it takes out the whole calling into the restaurant and the other less efficient things that are going on there. And with this, you can filter by time, you can filter deals, reviews, you can, it's standard pricing in there. And we have a really cool feature, which is an adjusted marketing arm. And this is basically the restaurant. We go in and we sell them on a certain percentage for doing the service. And this way they can, the percentage of their contract determines their delivery fee. So different times of the day, if they want to say, oh, my restaurant is slow right now, I need more sales, they can slide their arm to zero. To a higher percentage, and it'll make their delivery fee go down, to zero if they wanted to. But then it sends out social media messages to customers, hey, it's free delivery to this restaurant now. And so orders start flowing in based on them changing that or correcting it. So they can do it for a certain time frame or certain days or however long they want to do that. And also we have, optional tip at the end. Customers can sign at the door, and also last mile logistics. So this is something that a lot of restaurants, and we've signed some deals with a couple of other companies that now that we're in these secondary markets, they're coming to us about doing some last mile logistics for them to just utilize the driver network that we have in these markets. So that's really starting to take off and go really well too. He talked about the markets. So these are the markets that we specialize in. You won't see us in Dallas, Houston, LA, New York, any markets like that. We focus on towns that are 100 to 300,000. With 150 being our sweet spot. Smaller college towns, military towns, secondary markets with little to no competition, and just places where we can really go in and be innovative. So our goal is not only to supply the restaurant with delivery service, but also fulfill around the whole entire secondary markets, because one thing that these markets are lacking is convenience. And they come to the large markets, they see convenience, and they wonder why they don't have it in their areas. And so with us bringing it there, it's just really gone over well. And we have some, we keep up with the large services, we talk with them, we meet with them, and this is just something that a lot of them hadn't been able to master, and they really like what we're doing in this space. So Max can, we'll finish the competitive advantages. So these are some competitors in our spaces right now, and as you can see, we are the one, is that it? Okay, we are the one with, custom technology. We have one of them that has partial, it's been put together with different types of, technologies. We offer rewards referral program, last mile logistics, a partner data management tool, which we talked a little bit earlier about, where we really give the restaurants information and data on their sales, on their customers, so it better helps them market and push things out in their areas. And our growth strategy is really getting into sales and marketing with our referral program. Customer experience is a big focus of ours right now. Retaining customers, we really grew fast and jumped out there. So now this first and second quarter, we've been focusing on, not really growing, but focusing on those customers that we have and really getting them up to par and giving them that true experience that we want every customer to have. The local driver support, area managers, and just really continuing to innovate in our technology so we can take that to another level. I think this is it. This is just where we are. We are in the last stage, and we're starting to look for funding now. We bootstrapped our company, generating over 135,000 orders. This is all in the first 18 months. Over 27,000 users, 5.2, and we're seeking 5 million so that we can really. We have 30 markets that's been identified in the South Central region. That are all no competition in these markets, and that really follow suit and are in line with the parameters that we look for a market. So the name of this game is speed. 80% of people who launch these apps on their phones never change. So if we can get in and penetrate these markets fast and give them the service that they need, we'll be able to sustain it no matter who comes in.
A lot of information to cover in a short period of time.
Yes.
Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to kick it off by the first question. So are there certain markets that I guess what's your prime, is it breakfast, lunch, dinner? Dinner the biggest delivery
Dinner's
area?
the biggest. So what we've seen is at lunchtime, there's about 18 to 20% of the orders happen there. And about 78% are dinner. It's just a small 1 to 2% we see in breakfast.
Does that vary by market, or is it just?
It's pretty consistent across all markets. Yeah, the dinner time is the really big push. What we've seen, especially in these secondary markets, unlike Dallas, where it's so hard to get out and get around during lunch that you want it brought in. But in these secondary markets, people are in the office all day. They want to get out and they can go around the way to get food. Now, at lunch, we do have larger orders, group orders, catering orders that do better. But the individuals, it's more in the evening. You know, they get home. We have a, you know, a way of pre-ordering. So the soccer mom has the kids all day, or, you know, in trainings, and they get home at 7 o'clock, and they're ordering food at noon to be delivered by 7. So when they get home, the food meets them there and everyone's happy. So we get so many more dinner orders just because the flexibility of the parents.
Excellent.
And people ordering.
Great presentation, and you guys did cover a lot of information. I learned a lot. I'm going to use MenuRunners now. I'm a soccer mom. But I wanted to ask just, you know, it's really surprising just the amount of success that you've achieved in a short period of time. $10,000 in initial funding, bootstrapping, 18 months, and now look at your numbers. So for all of our entrepreneurs here, you know, who are constantly thinking about, like, how am I going to, like, really succeed? What am I going to do? Like, what's the one thing that you would attribute the majority of your success to?
Pure grit. No, not sleeping. My eyes are bloodshot still.
We're not sleeping. We need more than that.
No. You know, it's always interesting, especially with this newer generation of entrepreneurs. It's seemed, you know, not that I don't love the show Shark Tank and things like that, but it puts in people's mind, I call it the Shark Tank syndrome, where people are thinking, how much money can I raise to start a business, instead of how do I start a business with the least amount of money. And really, that's how we approach this is we've looked at different ways to bootstrap. One of them being is, instead of building the software first, okay, and saying, oh, here's what the customer wants or what we think they want, and then go take it to market, and then we're changing it, we licensed the system, okay, grew the business to 1.2 million, 1.1 million in our first 6 months with a licensed software, learned everything we needed to know about that software, and then went and built our own. And that saved us a lot of headache. Every single thing, I cannot say we have any scrap programming in our software that we've built and is not being utilized at this time. So to answer your question, to go back to that, it's you know, thinking strategically. There's always a way to bootstrap something. You just need to think harder on it. And at the end of the day, it's pure grit. You know, we're not the smartest guys in the room, but heck, we can outwork anyone. So that's the mentality we bring to the table.
Thank you.
That's a great presentation and excellent concept. One, how are you doing on repeat customers? And also, are you seeing your restaurant customers, are they seeing an uptick in repeat business as well?
100%. And that's something that, I speak loud enough, so I'll move the mic, but, oh yeah, sure. So a good question, and that's kind of a two-part question. The first part of that is, yes, our restaurants are seeing repeat business, and here's why. We don't picture ourselves as a vendor, we picture ourselves as a partner. A lot of restaurant delivery services out there will put you on their app, put you on their site, and that's about all they do. We create a marketing program for our restaurant partners. We are in there promoting people to come to events at their restaurant. It's not just a plug and play. It's, hey, we're going to meet with you quarterly. Brinker International is one of our national partners. So which is really exciting. And we have a couple of those, but every market we move into, we instantly have a Chili's. Okay? So we meet with Brinker quarterly to go over where their customers are at, what's going on, how do they market to it, what are their times, what foods are, you know, going out the door. Repeat business, like Don Eric said, our first 6 months has been completely about the customer experience. We grew rapidly in 2017, and we have not grown in another area this year. The reason being is because we are 100% focusing on customer experience. That is what the driver is saying, how they dress, what does our car look like, how does the app interface, calling customers. Who has here gotten a late order from Uber? I have. You didn't get a call from Uber saying, hey, your order's late. You just got a late order. Our dispatchers will call the customers and say, hey, just want to let you know your order is going to be a little late. That happens. Things get busy, but it's about how you handle it and how the customer sees you, which makes us different and why we retain those customers.
Hey, gentlemen, great job. How long does it take to bring a market online and to make it profitable?
Well, right now, especially since our system is up to par, we can bring an area in, and within 3 months, we can have them profitable. So a 3-month run, and that's just with our marketing plan that we have for the restaurants. And like I say, going into these areas, a lot of these areas are untapped. So this is something that they know nothing about and that they've been waiting for. So as soon as we bring them on, the amount that it takes to put into an area, which is very little in these scales because they don't have anything. So we can really get them profitable really fast.
And then why hasn't Brinker wrote you a check?
Because we're just now in the funding stage, and we're working with them on a couple of things, but we also have, we're in talks with 7-Eleven, and we're meeting with their venture group because there's some logistics things that they want us to do. So between 7 Ventures and Brinker's firm, we're in talks right now with them, so getting everything prepared.
Great presentation. It was pretty awesome.
Thank you.
The question that I have is, it sounds like that you work with a lot of chain-type stores.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever considered some of the mom and pops who also need your help?
Oh yeah, that's a heavy focus, the mom and pop. So the chains are more so our entry to the market. So when we go in and we're starting an area, because we built these partnerships with 12 to 15 national partners, we can go in and launch an area with these national partners on board. And then when you have those national partners, that give you more credibility when you're going after the local people. But the local people is the biggest makeup of our mix. So that's where we really heavily focus on, because the national partners, we pop them on and we don't have to do as much for them, and people are going to latch onto them because they're a national brand. So we put our time and focus into the smaller guys that don't have that presence. So it's a huge makeup of so if you see our platforms, we have about 20% of our restaurants, 25% are national, and the other 75 are all local. So that's our bread and butter, the locals.
Have you had an experience where a local was close to the brink of going out of business and you've helped to turn them around?
I can't think of one that we've helped that were actually going out of business, but we did have a couple who, hey, my dinners do really well, but I'm lacking in my lunch, and this is where I can really get some, gain some action. And so we pop them in on our lunch, we do marketing and push there, and we've grown their we've grown their lunch sales, which could, in essence, if those weren't growing, it could have taken them out, but we haven't had anyone that we've helped their business from failing or from going out of business, but we've definitely gone in to help grow different segments of these restaurants.
And just to answer that, or to expand on that, I mean, that really goes into what we do for the restaurants, being a partner and not a vendor. And we do, one of our marketing plans is professional photography of food. That we give to them for them to market, but it also allows us to push with them. I mean, we're working with them on marketing campaigns to push out to the city, letting them know where to push door flyers out, letting them know where to send mailers, email addresses. It's a constant stream of communication. And that's what I think really separates us and is a barrier to entry from anyone else coming in, is because the relationship we have. I mean, Brinker, we're probably, I wouldn't say we're the smallest, but we're one of the smaller companies that work with Brinker, but they love us because we're in there every quarter meeting with them. They won Restaurant Partner of the Year with us. Because, I mean, they just love us because of that relationship. And we do the same thing with mom and pops. So, I mean, that's a big focus. We love it.
Question back here. So, as far as their fees go, again, remind me, the fee you charge to the restaurants is roughly what?
Between 20 and 25%. And we charge them on the food.
And the delivery drivers are paid how?
So they're contract, and they get paid a delivery fee and the tips on the order. And on some, depending on the mileage, they get a mileage fee once it's over 5 miles.
And I guess those delivery people they're contracts, so they work for multiple delivery
yeah, some work for multiple delivery services, but we have quite a few that make good enough money here that they stay and work with those. But like I said, in most of our areas that we're in, there are no other services. So they may be doing running auto parts for AutoZone or something of that nature as a contractor, but There's nothing, in a lot of these areas, there's no Uber, there's nothing, so there's not a lot of gig jobs for those workers.
And are you in like, let's say some smaller college towns where delivery might be late in the evening, or are you not in those areas yet?
Yeah, I mean, we're in, say, for instance, San Angelo, there's Angelo State, University. We deliver there, but we stop at 9:30 to 10. We don't do any late nights. We've tried it. We've looked at it a couple of places just because, of course, when you go out and you're talking about it and you're discussing it, everyone's like, yeah, I'm always hungry at midnight. Yeah, I want food. But then, we do it, we push it, we get it out there, and just the return, on that really just doesn't make, sense in a lot of these markets. So we hadn't gone that route.
Gentlemen, your energy is contagious, pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Would you mind elaborating the part where you said earlier that you licensed your software even before you built it?
We licensed the software. So there was another technology out there that someone built for restaurant delivery services to use. And so we used their software to get up to par. And once we proved out our concept and proved out what we were doing, then we had one built, and we're ditching that one. So we've transitioned about 3/4 of our markets over to the new system, and so we still have a couple more to transition over. So we were just licensing another system, which, with you, talking about that, that's another feature that our system will be able to do, the capability of licensing to other restaurant delivery services. So, we still know that there's tons of small delivery services, even in tertiary markets, that are, people standing next to a phone with a website where you just go in and type in what you want. It sends an email over. They call the people. They take their payment, and they call the restaurant, place an order at the restaurant, go pick it up and take it, which is a long process. So in some of those guys, in some of those tertiary markets, we're going to allow them to license our software. So now it cuts down on 40–50% of their time, and they can get their orders done a lot more efficient. So that'll be another revenue stream for us.
Wow, that's smart and bold. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, last question. You've kind of said what you're looking for, but as a small picture here, what can we do today to help you achieve your goals?
Definitely a couple of things would be some introductions to some different resources, not only funding, but as we get into logistics and operations, that can become a challenge. And we know, so maybe being able to consult and talk with some operations directors that are in businesses 5 or 10 million plus, that may be able to give us some good feedback into some areas that we're going into.
Fantastic presentation. Really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.